Hello students, again we are continuing with our story, The Gift of the Magi. So far we have read that how was the condition of their house, Mrs. and Mr. James Dillingham Young, that they were living in a very meagerly maintained flat, which was $8 per week. The things or the way in which that house is maintained is a clear indication of their financial condition. The current situation which is being dealt by the inhabitants or Mrs. James Dillingham, that is Della, is the question that what she should buy for her husband Jim as a Christmas present, because she had only $1.87 with her, and in that problematic situation, she has noticed one thing, one treasure which both these two people have each, and that is the long hair of Della and the golden watch of Jim. And after looking herself in the mirror, in that fire glass for a second, Della wore her jacket, wore her hat, and hurriedly she rushed down the stairs and into the street. Now, next, where she stopped, the sign read MME Sofroni, hair goods of all kinds. One flight up, Della ran and collected herself, panting. Madame, large, too white, chilly, hardly looked the Sofroni. And it says that after hurriedly going down the stairs and into the street, the place where Della had stopped, or the shop, or the place where Della had stopped, that place has a signboard, and what is written on that signboard is Messrs. Sofroni, hair goods of all kinds. That was the signboard where she had stopped. It was a shop related with hair. One flight up, Della ran and collected herself, panting, and in a very hurried manner, in a running manner, she stepped up to the shop, and then she collected herself, she regained her poise. Madame Sofroni, she was large, too white, chilly, and hardly looked the Sofroni. And the lady who was the owner of that shop, who was attending the customers there, she was a very large-bodied woman, too white, chilly, and she hardly looked near the name of herself, Sofroni. Will you buy my hair? Asked Della. And now, because Della doesn't have any money and she is in a fix as to what present she can buy for her husband, she, after seeing herself in that fire glass, has decided this last option which she has, to sell her hair. So Della, she reaches there to the shop, and then she asked, will you buy my hair? She asked to that person, the lady who is attending the counter there. I buy hair, said Madam. Take your hat off and let's have a sight at the looks of it. She said, okay, I buy her hair, and before I buy, or before I tell that how much money I could give, let me have a look at your hair. Down rippled the brown cascade, and again that brown colored cascade, of which we have been talked about earlier also, that treasure Della has, it again rippled as if some water flowed down from the hair, brown colored. $20, said Madame, lifting the mass with a practiced hand, and then uh, examining the hair by lifting with her hand. The Madame Sofronie, what she had? $20. She had priced the hair, and she said, I will give you $20. Give it to me quick, said Della, in a very hurried manner, because she was so exasperated that she wanted the money anyhow. So she said that okay, give it to me quick. आप मुझे ये पैसा जो है वो दे दीजिए. And the next 2 hours tripped by on rosy wings. Forget the haste metaphor. She was ransacking the stores for Jim's present. And the next 2 hours tripped by on rosy wings, means अगले जो 2 घंटे थे ना, they tripped by on rosy wings, as if they have passed on some wings of roses, and they have flown very quickly. अगले जो 2 घंटे थे ना वो बहुत ही जल्दी से गुजर गए. Forget the haste metaphor. So she said that forget this metaphor which I have used, but she was ransacking the stores for Jim's present. And how those 2 hours passed? Because she was running here and there through the stores to buy a gift for Jim. She found it at last, and at last she has found a suitable gift for Jim. It surely had been made for Jim and no one else, and the item which she has found as a present, as a gift for Jim, it was so suitable an item that it directly conveyed this message to Della, or I mean it appealed to Della as if it is made for Jim only and no one else. जो गिफ्ट था ना उसको देख के एट लास्ट क्यों मिला उसको, क्योंकि ये जो गिफ्ट था अब जो उसने ढूंढा था ये वो था जो डायरेक्टली अपील कर रहा था डेला को कि ये सिर्फ जिम के लिए बना है, किसी और के लिए नहीं बना है. There was no other like it in any of the stores, and she had turned all of them inside out. And this gift, this present, this item which she have chosen now, there was no other item like this item in any of the stores, and she had turned all of them inside out. Means she had turned all the stores inside out. Inside out means होता ना था कि कई बार अपने जैसे बैग में कोई सामान हो गुम हो जाए, या अपनी जेब में कई बार अपन कोई चीज़ छोटी हो गुम हो जाती है, तो अपन उसे कैसे ढूंढते हैं? बाई टर्निंग इट अपसाइड इनसाइड आउट, है ना. जेब को ऐसे उल्ट के देखते हैं या बैग को उल्टा करके देखते हैं कि कहीं इसके किसी कोने में वो चीज़ छुपी हुई तो नहीं रहेगी ना. उसको उल्टा और सीधा दोनों तरफ से ऐसे करके देखते हैं ताकि कहीं वो चिपकी हुई छुपी हुई वो चीज़ ना रह जाए. सो इन द सेम मैनर Della has ransacked all the stores inside out. It was a platinum fob chain, simple and chaste in design, properly proclaiming its value by substance alone and not by meretricious ornamentation, as all good things should do. And now the writer tells us about the item which she has found out. It was a platinum fob chain. It was a chain, watch chain made of platinum, and it's a very simple and chaste in design. Its design was very simple and very pure kind of design. It was, means no ornamentation was there. It was properly proclaiming its value by substance alone and not by meretricious ornamentation. And the value, the effect, or the presence which Della has felt of this thing, it was proclaimed only by its substance, not by that meretricious, that gaudy ornamentation, है ना. वो जो बिना रियल वैल्यू के जो दिखावा होता है ना, वैसा कोई ornamentation नहीं था इसके साथ. It has a very simple design, and that itself has attracted Della, as all good things should do. As it is that all the good things should claim their superiority, should establish their presence by way of their substance only, not through their ornamentation or anything like that. It was even worthy of the watch. And the one merit of this chain, one merit of this item was what? That it has that appeal only on the basis of its substance, that anyone can like it. And the second thing, that it is worthy of that golden watch also. As soon as she saw it, she knew that it must be Jim's. And as soon as Della had seen that chain, she has realized that it is for Jim. It was like him. It was just like him. I mean, it was like him as Jim is. The chain which suitable to his personality, quietness and value. The description applied to both. And this description, quietness means no ornamentation, no gaudiness, and simplicity. That are the two descriptions having value in its substance. That description suits both these two things. Both the two means Jim and this chain. $21 they took from her for it, and she hurried home with the 87 cents. And the price of that chain was $21. So $20 she had sold her hairs, and that $1.87 she already had with her. So she just purchased it with those $21, and with that remaining 87 cents she hurried back home. With that chain on his watch, Jim might be properly anxious about the time in any company. And now what she was thinking in her mind, that after purchasing that chain, that now as this chain is attached to the watch of Jim, then Jim must be anxious of the time, means he will notice the time again and again by looking at his watch. Grand as the watch was, he sometimes looked at it on the sly on account of the old leather strap that he used in place of a chain. She says that the watch is grand, no doubt. It is very majestic watch it was, but still James used to look the time in a very sly manner, in a very secret manner. Why? Because that strap which he has attached with it was not worthy of this watch, and that's why Jim used to see the time in a very secret manner only. When Della reached home, her intoxication gave way a little to prudence and reason. But these were the plannings, these were the ideas which she was having in her mind while she was returning home from the market. But the writer said that when she reached home, then the prudence, sensibility, and knowledge, reasoning, it has given way. Means a bit of reasoning, a bit of sensibility started to take place in her mind. She got out her curling irons and lighted the gas and went to work repairing the ravages made by generosity added to love. And then, means when sensibility and reasoning got into her mind, then she realized that now she is not looking that much beautiful as she was with her hair. So now she just lighted the gas to bring out the curling irons, and she started to repair the damages which were caused by generosity added to love. Means what she has done out of love, she has been so generous that she has sacrificed the best thing which she could have, which she had with her, which is always a tremendous task, dear friends, a mammoth task. And it says that whenever you sacrifice something like this out of generosity, out of love, then the writer said this is a very tremendous task, this is a very great task, friends. It is a mammoth task. Mammoth means an impossible task. ये जो टास्क है ये एक impossible टास्क था. Within 40 minutes, Her head was covered with tiny, close-lying curls that made her look wonderfully like a truant schoolboy. She looked at her reflection in the mirror long, carefully, and critically. She says within 40 minutes, means it took her 40 minutes to repair her hair, and she means just changed all her hair in small tiny close lying curls, and though made him look like a school boy है ना, मीन्स उसकी जो एज थी वो एक स्कूल बॉय जैसी वो दिखने लग गई थी. She looked at her reflection in the mirror long, carefully, and critically, and then she looked at the mirror for a long time in a very careful manner, in a very critical manner, because now that emotional part was gone. No, that emotional part out of which she has sacrificed her hair, she has sold them, purchased a gift for Jim, but now she has realized that perhaps she is not looking that much beautiful now. So now she is trying to repair those damages. If Jim doesn't kill me, she said to herself, before he takes a second look at me, he will say I look like a Coney Island chorus girl. But what could I do? What could I do with $1.87? And now she realizes what the real damage she has caused, what is the real thing which has taken place. So she said that if Jim doesn't kill me before he takes a second look at me, I mean, she said this thing to herself that Jim loved me very much, and for a small attribute of that love might also related to those beautiful hair also. So she said that if before having a second look at me, Jim would not kill me, then she would obviously observe that I am now looking like a Coney Island chorus girl. Chorus girl means those girls who sing in chorus to some band performance. But what could I do? But she said, still, what could I do? Even if he likes me or not, but what option do I have? I doesn't have any option with me because I have only $1.87, and still I have to buy some present for Jim. So out of that compulsion, out of that no way situation, I have to do it, and that's why I have sold my hair and I have purchased this. Means this she is trying to reassure herself that what I have done is done out of pure love, out of pure necessity. So this is it. Thank you.